Good evening, my wonderful friends, colleagues, and associates. This is John C. Morley. And welcome to another stream. For those of you that are new to my streams, well, every single week I do a new topic and then I get a little more specific each day. I'm going to pop up the QR code there on the top right. Just take your phone, scan the QR code. That will bring you to my Linktree, which has links about almost everything I do and that I'm involved in. You can get to that directly without scanning the QR code by going linktr.ee/JOHNCMORLEY, serial entrepreneur altogether. And if you are an existing subscriber, well, welcome back. It's great to have you back and to have you loyal and watching me all the time. And if you're new today, I hope that you'll become one of my loyal subscribers very, very soon. And hey, we're just a little bit over 100. We got to break 150, and then we're going to keep growing. And then we'll be able to start streaming right to John C. Morley's Serial Entrepreneur here on LinkedIn. If you're on Facebook, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on my YouTube channels or Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, wherever you are, go ahead and show me some love, love, support, check. Comment below. We're talking about something very, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what that is. We're talking about, yes, what reward will you give yourself? We have 2 more days on it. So we have tomorrow, Thursday, and we have Friday. So when we talk about a reward, we talk what rewards mean and things like that. But when we think about a reward, do you do something just for a reward? Or do you do something because you want to become more knowledgeable? So if you just did something to get an A on a test, would that be very smart? No, because later on in life, you're going to find out that you're not going to be able to do those things that you wanted to do. So really, really important, ladies and gentlemen, that you understand words are important and they can help us get somewhere, but we don't just do something for a reward, right? We can do something, we can have a reward, and they're great. There's nothing wrong with them. But if you strictly do everything for a reward, well, then that's going to be a problem. Like I said, if it's a test or if you're trying to beat something, then that's not really going to help you learn, and it's not going to help you become a better version of yourself, and it's not going to help others become a better version of themselves as well. Talking more about reward, okay? Whether we're talking about $1, we're talking about a quarter, we're talking about some other type of thing you're going to do for someone, or what you're going to get after you have learned something, or maybe you're going to get something like an achievement or a certificate. Understanding what the reward is and the value of the reward, I think, is so powerful. A lot of people get caught up, though, with the fact of what should the reward be. And they don't start what they're going to do. And the reason they don't start it is because they get all confused. That's right. They get all confused. Now, does that happen on purpose? No, it doesn't happen on purpose. It just kind of happens because people are trying to do the right thing. So I know it can be challenging. But think about a reward for a second, right? Think about a reward. And when you think about a reward, a lot of times you're asking yourself, well, gee, is this reward worth the trouble? Is it worth the trouble? And you might say to yourself, no, or you might say to yourself, yes, right? But why does that happen? I think it happens because people get stuck in a rut, right? They get stuck in a rut. And when they get stuck in this rut, they feel like they're like clamoring for straws. Okay? They're clamoring for straws. And what do we mean by that? Well, it means that you're trying to do something to impress someone, but you're not doing something for the purpose of actually growing your life. Okay? That's probably the most important thing that I want to share with you, because you can do things to learn and become better, and you can also do things for the wrong reasons, like trying to impress others. Um, if you're doing it for those reasons, then that can be a little bit of a problem. And when you start to understand that a problem is something that you don't realize until you've been involved. And what do I mean by being involved? Well, it's really simple. If you're always doing something for a reward, and the reward comes, and then you don't do something because you don't get the reward, well, that shouldn't demotivate you, right? It shouldn't demotivate you at all. But a lot of people, they pull out. They don't get a reward like, oh, I'm not getting the candy, so I'm not coming back, like Pavlov's dog. I'm not getting my candy, I'm not getting my biscuit, or I'm not getting the meat or the food, so I give up. But is that really an intelligent thing to do? I would argue to say it's not. Because if you're so focused only on a reward is a good motivator, but don't use a reward as the only thing that's going to propel you forward to that goal. Now, if you do that, here's what happens. Your body only wants to enact upon things when there's a goal. Now, the goals are good to motivate you, but let's say you were doing something and you were doing it for, I don't know, some snacks. Well, now there's no snacks, or the store doesn't have those snacks. So what are you going to do? Not do it anymore? Because of the snack as a reward, but it should propel you forward. It shouldn't pull you backward if you don't have it, right? So rewards are here to keep us on track, to make sure that we make the right decisions. Well, let's talk about weight loss for a second, all right? You have something called long-term gratification and short-term gratification. So short-term gratification means I eat the piece of chocolate or the cake, the big piece of cake, and I feel great because of that chocolate or that rush, right? The sugar rush. However, a little bit later, maybe I have a stomach ache, or maybe I feel like I ate too much, I'm bloated, or maybe down the road, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to get heavy. The short-term gratification is the fact that you've gotten your pleasure right away from having the cake or the sweets or whatever it is. The long-term gratification says, aha, we're going to do something, and what we're going to do is pretty cool, and we're actually going to get long-term gratification, which might be losing weight. Now, I don't know if any of you have tried to lose weight in the past. When you start to see a little bit of weight coming off and it's consistent, you're like, oh my gosh, this is actually working. And then when you're in the pattern, like, oh, I can do this. I can do this longer. I can keep doing this. And then you start getting in your head, you're like, wow, I lost 10 pounds, I lost 15 pounds. Well, if I did it another couple months, I could lose another 15 pounds. If I did this, I could be where I need to be in 4 months. And it gets you really excited because you now believe that you have everything you need to achieve your goal. When people try to achieve a goal in the beginning and like, oh, I don't know if I can do it, I don't know if I have the skills, those are the wrong questions to ask. The questions you should be asking yourself is, what's it going to look like when I achieve my goal? What am I going to feel like when I achieve my goal? What are others going to say about me when I achieve my goal? How am I going to be living differently when I achieve my goal? How am I going to be communicating with others when I achieve my goal? So remember, the brain doesn't understand the difference between something you've imagined and something that's happening. We've learned this from famous athletes that actually train, and they had the 3 sets of students, right? The one that did nothing, one that went and played basketball every single day, and then the other group that went to a study room and they silently practiced basketball in their head, meditating. So if we think about a reward, all right, and the reward comes, we get in that pattern of doing it. But the hope I have by you getting the reward is that the reward's going to motivate you enough to take those extra steps. Once you've seen what happens, you're going to keep doing it. So let's say, for example, you want to lose weight. And so the first reward might be if you're able to go and you're able to lose 2 or 3 pounds. Well, then you're going to be able to start getting some kind of dessert. And maybe that dessert's only 50 or 60 calories, but it's something. And so as you're getting into that, and the more you're doing it, now sometimes you might not have the dessert, but you're still motivated. You know why? Because you're starting to see the results, like the pounds falling off you. And a lot of people are like, I don't get it. Well, you don't get it because you haven't tried it. If you've ever tried to do something in your life and you have this great big goal, but now you're starting to do it, and you're like, you know what, like exercising. Well, I got to keep exercising. I got to keep doing this. Why? It feels good. Feels great. And that is going to propel you forward, whether you get that goal or you don't get that goal, the reward, I should say. The goal is one thing, but the reward keeps you on track. But the reward actually causes our mind to not look at what we're doing, but look at the future. And then we get so much into what we're doing that it's a pattern that we don't even know about. And before you know it, guess what happens? Yes, we keep living a life of bliss, and we keep living on autopilot. So we're starting to put programs in our head. We've talked about programs that are put in your head that other people put in. But what if you could put programs in your head, and those programs help you become a better version of yourself and help others become a better version of yourself? I think that's pretty cool. All right, let's take, for example, you want to be great in sales. And if you achieve, let's say, the most sales in your company, you're going to get a trip. Well, that's great. So that motivates you to do that. But now, if you start practicing and start figuring out what successful salespeople do, and now you start getting it in your blood and your body, like, I can do this. I can feel this. This is amazing. I know what it's like to do this every day. And I just want to do it. I think the same thing happens with exercising, right? You do it, you feel really great, and you want to do it. And there might be times you don't do it, but then you get right back on the horse, right? It's not like you missed 3 or 4 days. When that happens, your brain kind of makes a switch, and that switch causes you to say, hey, I can do this. I'm enjoying doing this. This is fun. I want to do more of this. I'm losing weight. I'm feeling good. That's what life is about, ladies and gentlemen. It's finding these little hacks that can get us to be on our path long enough so that once we're on the path, we don't want to leave the path. Yes, there's that big goal down the road. But when we can start to get these little motivators that keep us on track, we now don't even have a reason that we need to have a reward because we found a reward in what we're going for. That's just priceless. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed this tonight. I would ask you to please tag your friends, your colleagues, and your associates. If you're not already subscribed to John C. Morley, Serial Entrepreneur, on any of our channels, especially on LinkedIn, we want to reach that 150 mark very soon so we can apply for LinkedIn streaming to the group and keep growing this group. Very excited because this Friday, which is actually February 18th, we're going to be having Colonel retired Wayne Phelps on, and we'll be talking about his book, Remote Killing and the Psychology of Drones, the Kill. So I think you're understanding a little more about gifts. And I think you're understanding that a gift and a reward can sometimes be hand in hand. But where the problem happens is that when you perceive something and when you don't get it, it's like, oh, you got to shut down. That's why you have to condition yourself. It gets the pump primed. Once the pump's primed to be able to pump the liquid, we don't need to give it primer anymore because it's already going. It's running. All right, ladies and gentlemen, share this out with everyone you know. Go to YouTube, type my name, John space E space Morley space Serial Entrepreneur, and look for the key phrase to help keep our content free. And below that, make the choice. Click on PayPal. And, of course, buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a sandwich, glass of water. We'll be so grateful. We'll invest into new hardware, new technology, new facilities, new staff to give you the most insightful, jaw-dropping, motivational content to get you out of procrastination, to get you into believing you can do something, to doing it. And when you do it, you're going to see for yourself that you can do things when you set your mind to it. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been a pleasure being with you this evening. I'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night and your morning. And remember, we're here to become better versions of ourselves and help everyone else become better versions of themselves. That's why we're all here. Have yourself a great night, everyone. Take care.